This is going to be a good episode. We have got two of my favorite cuties on. I love it when I get to have brides on. It's some of my favorite episodes. But today we have a bride and we have a mother of the bride.
Ooh.
So we have Nancy and Amanda Bailey. Amanda is actually getting married April 15th of 2023. So we are almost exactly a year out from wedding day. And we are just going to dive into what it feels like to be the two of you right now. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. I guess you can tell us about that boy.
Amanda, tell us about how did this engagement go down? Let's start there.
Oh, okay. That's the best part.
Oh, well, I didn't even know we were going to the best part first. Awesome.
So Alex and I have been together for 5.5 years. We started dating in high school. So we live in the same house right now. And so one day on Friday, I got home from work and I walk in and it was weird because the dogs didn't like run up to me. We have two big old dogs and they didn't run up to me. I was like, that's weird. And all the lights were off. And I was like, that's even more weird. So I walk in and our garage connects to like our kitchen. So I walk through the kitchen. There's rose petals all over the ground. And there's like a glowing, so I walk further and there were like 100 candles, little tea light candles lit up all over the kitchen in our dining room. He printed off like 90 pictures of us from the last 5.5 years and had them hanging up all over the walls and whatnot. And then I walk outside to our back porch and Alex and his dad had been there all day like cleaning up because we were about to have our housewarming party that Saturday night. So I walk outside and I see my friend with her big fancy camera and he's over there in the corner with a little marry me sign and yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, he sounds like a keeper, Sharon.
He is a doll.
Yeah.
He's so sweet and I love me some him because he likes to eat. That boy likes to eat.
I've been in a couple tastings with him and yes.
He loves those tastings.
He's really fun.
He seems very thoughtful because it sounds like that took quite a bit of planning.
Planning, it took about a couple hours.
Oh, he's efficient. There's nothing wrong with
A
that.
few days before he ordered like the signs and stuff from Amazon, and then that day, my friend and his friend who are married, they came over and helped him do
But he had to take the pictures.
Yes, no.
That took some time.
And he really had to think it out, so we'll give him some credit where credit's due.
No, it was perfect. He couldn't have done any better.
And
It
how
sounds
long?
like it was perfect.
It does. It sounds like it was
So
awesome.
Nancy, did he ask you guys first? Did he come and ask your husband and you?
So Alex knew all along we're old fashioned and he had to ask Steve's permission for the both of us. Steve gave his blessing right away. So they actually went to one of our favorite places to go, World of Beer, and plug for them. And they had lunch there one Saturday when I was out of town.
That's awesome.
So I knew nothing about it until Amanda called me and said that they got engaged.
Oh wow, you didn't know.
No, I had an idea because I knew they were shopping for rings for the last few months, but I didn't know when it was happening or how. So he did good.
How long have they been engaged?
Since November?
November 12th.
November 12th.
Gotcha. So at the time of this recording, you've been engaged about 6 months?
Close.
Wow, and we are deep in wedding planning, and I only know that because we've been at a couple tastings and a couple wedding shows together. And I know the wedding planning is going great.
It's going great. We are actually way ahead of what our normal timeline is.
And the reason Sharon knows that is because Sharon's your wedding planner.
I am.
Yes.
Yes. So, and I'm sorry, Sharon, not to jump in. I just wanted to hear the engagement story.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So that was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So where in the world are you starting, Sharon? I got my words in, Mike. Good luck getting some words in here because Sharon is going to talk all things with planning.
Well, Amanda's made it really easy because she wants to get, as do I, everything done early because she knows how important it is to book that A team. She wants who she wants, and she wants to get on their book and know that she's not going to lose that vendor because someone else gets them first. So that's music to my ears because I want who I want on that team as well. So that's been really fun. We have a blast. We We have left to hire just a DJ and a videographer. I think that's
And,
about it.
transportation,
Yeah, but we'll just,
cake,
yeah.
that's all little stuff that we can
Yeah.
figure out.
So tell us though, what has been the most exciting thing about starting to plan the wedding? I mean, I know you've hired Sharon.
I mean, aside from
And-
hiring,
and,
that was the highlight.
Well, I know you've hired her, but I mean, you
What
know,
stood out the
what
most?
stood out the most? Just getting ready for this big day.
Being able to, so obviously I've had like a Pinterest board for the last 10 years. But like that first week after getting engaged, I spent hours going through my Pinterest, reorganizing, getting new ideas, and it was totally different than the last 10 years, what I thought I wanted. But yeah, planning the type of wedding I want, I guess the look, the decor, the parties leading up to it has really gotten me excited to be with everybody. With the housewarming party was the next night after our engagement, so that was like a big woohoo, we got, I don't know. And then we just had our engagement party this last weekend. So that was like a kind of a preview for the wedding. And if that was a preview, I need to prepare a lot better.
You got some time.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Well, I gotta kick the same question over to Nancy because I think that's a great question. What has stuck out to you just in this journey of planning? Is there something that comes to mind?
So I have to back up a little bit and correct Amanda because
Uh-oh.
when she first got engaged, so that was Friday night. Saturday night was their open house that was already planned for the house that she just bought. And then Sunday she calls me and she says, I just want to relax and enjoy being engaged and take some time. And then within a couple of days she was calling me and saying that she already had places she wanted to go see and the churches she wanted to go see. So
I mean, she already said she had a Pinterest board for
she
10 years.
did. She does. And so she has been enjoying her engagement, but she has completely taken things and she's planning exactly what she wants. I know she's going to have an amazing day. I think the most exciting part that I've had so far, besides seeing her excitement of being engaged, is her trying on dresses. That got me.
Did you cry Nancy Bailey?
I teared up.
I think she's getting ready to tear up now.
I teared up on the, I think it was the first dress she came out in. And then I teared up again when she tried on my dress a day or two later, I guess the next day. It was not a good fit for her, so I'm glad she chose not to take my dress. But it's just not the style now. But seeing her in a wedding dress just kind of made it all real, I guess.
So, asking about that, and either one of you can answer, how many dresses did she try on?
Oh, I have a picture of every single one of them.
Give us a
Was there
guess.
a lot?
Guess how many?
15? 20?
So we went to 3 stores, and in
Ooh.
each store, I probably tried on 10. So yeah, probably about 15. No, that's 30.
Good try.
It's been a long day.
Wow, did you, okay, I'm sorry, Sharon, I gotta dive into this. Did it make it more difficult for you to choose, or you just hadn't found the one?
No, I found the one after dress 5, but I needed validation.
And why not?
Yeah, it was the only time I'm ever going to be trying on wedding dresses, so why not try them all on?
I love it.
5. Wow. Were there some that was it the one, or were there a couple that were in the running?
There were a couple. I tried to pick like one at each store. That I kind of like. I'd pick my top one at each store, but the top one from the first store just trumped it all. So we ended up having a second appointment. Actually, scheduled my second appointment on Saturday at my first appointment. A few days later, and I went back and was like, okay, yeah, this is it. Yeah.
Just for people out there listening to know kind of how your process of it, I think sometimes we hear people are they're worried about trying on too many or not enough. So to hear that you went through 3 different stores and maybe 10 at each, that's That's good information.
Yeah, and it was pretty much what I wanted the whole time. Like I was set without knowing I was set. Like I needed something that wasn't I'm gonna be able to dance. I'm not gonna be miserably hot. I'm getting married in a church, so it can't be too, scandalous. So I had it was pretty much set in my head. I just needed to try it on.
I knew I liked her.
So let me ask you this. You said you've had a Pinterest page for 10 years. Has your style changed over the past 10 years?
That's what she said when she reorganized.
But don't you see that trends have changed completely too?
Completely. I mean, let's be honest, when I first started my Pinterest page, mason jars were a huge thing.
Please God, no mason
Yes,
jars.
please
And
God,
mine,
no.
yeah.
I
I'm just
cannot.
not
No
good
bar
at
laugh, no
mason-
mason jars. I can't.
No, I actually laughed a few times, like going through. I was like,
You were like, what was I thinking?
what? Yeah.
Right.
So since mom's here too, I mean, I know I work with a lot of moms and their brides, and a lot of times the moms come in and they have the vision, and they collide a little bit. Is it your vision? Is your mom have any part of the vision to it, or
Did y'all talk
did
about
you
it?
all talk about it,
Anything?
or
She has always been, even like growing up, she lets me do my own thing. And then she tells me like, oh, maybe we should think about this. Even if I don't go with that, she's okay with it. Does that make any sense? Like,
I think that's
It makes sense to us, but I think you were looking at her. Look, she's like,
No,
yeah, I'm
dude,
gonna give my
she-
answer.
My kids have to be them. I controlled their life when they were little. They're adults. They have to control their own now and make their big girl decisions.
Well, I commend
And
you
she's
on
done
that
good.
because you would not believe the moms and daughters that come in, and it's all about the mom.
No, I
And I
had
don't
my
think,
way.
and I don't think it should be that way.
I was worried.
Wow.
Wow. I hear you,
said
Nancy.
that. We're sticking with that tight budget. But we're back to the tight budget.
I think you guys have done a really good job, honestly.
Are we talking about the B word?
of walking that line. That was where I was trying to go. But they told me that they weren't going to get to talk because I love you guys so much, and I have not gotten to talk.
Well, let's not stop that. So we're gonna talk about the B word? No, I'm just
So,
kidding.
I remember our first meeting, and I do honestly I play mediator a lot between mothers and daughters, which is really weird because I don't have a daughter, and I have boys, so you like give them a pork chop and they're fine. Like they don't care about any of this stuff. So it was a learning experience for me when I first started this whole mother-daughter dynamic. But I remember our first meeting, and one of the things that always there's a clash over is budget, the B word as we call it here. And I remember Nancy giving me a number, and she said, that's a hard stop. And then I remember Amanda kind of saying, well, I think I want this, and I think I want this, and I'd kind of make eye contact with Nancy, and I'd be like, you're a hard stop, is that moving a little bit?
The look.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
How have you guys finagled that? How have you
Navigated those waters.
navigated those
In case
waters?
the father of the bride is listening,
We're not gonna
It's
talk
not
about those
loud.
numbers.
there is a hard stop, and we're sticking with it, Sharon.
Yes, and we're not gonna discuss those numbers. And it's good to know about that hard stop, Nancy. We got it. So now, Sharon, what's the next topic?
I tell you what, I kind of had an idea from other people how much weddings are nowadays. I mean, I think my wedding cost me $9,000. That's it.
Right.
30 years ago. It's not going to be that cheap. It's not even going to be double that. It's not going to be triple that. So I think I am realistic on that. And I think we could be reasonable. You know, Amanda, when she was younger, she used to watch the Say Yes to the Dress and $30,000 dresses and all this kind of stuff. That's not real life. I'm sorry.
Right.
And she did great. She stayed actually a little bit below what I was expecting a dress was going to cost. So we're still okay.
Well, I
And
think
is it-
it's good too that working with a planner, not plugging you, Sharon.
Oh, plug me.
But I mean, at least by you all having a planner, that helps you stay on track. But she's a killer bee about that. I mean, and I think that's good. I mean, that's why you hire a professional
to be that guide.
to help you
Yeah.
guide through the planning and stuff. So,
Have you found that you all have you communicated on a regular basis about the different things, the different components of the wedding between the two of you all in regards to budget?
I say I want something, I look at Sharon, if she gives me the face, we look at something
We're back
else.
to Okay, but no communication between you and your mom.
Well,
We're good.
I would
It's okay.
say
No, it's okay.
I haven't really picked anything that's too, our venue and our photographer, but it's worth it. No, we really haven't.
But I feel like
Those are two major things.
I feel like my takeaway from the two of them is their relationship was so strong going into wedding planning. That foundation didn't have any cracks. So, I have brides sometimes that will say, don't email my mom, don't talk to my mom. But that puts me in a rough spot because honestly, it's usually their mom that's paying me. So that puts me in a really rough spot, but they haven't done that. And like when I email Amanda, my email just populates Nancy's name when I email Amanda. They have worked very well together on
That's what I was
everything,
getting at.
and I think it's because they came into it strong. That relationship was solid.
Well, the first night I met them, I met both of you all, I knew it was going to be a fun ride. I
They're a
really
blast.
did,
They're a good
because, just by y'all's personality, and the groom was there too. And I think that's real important because, this is only going to happen once. You have to have a relationship. It doesn't matter, you're going to have bumps in the road no matter what. But just keep in mind that you're mother-daughter, and that's more important than getting mad and having a fight over something stupid. Because it's all about that one single day. And I think that's most important.
Absolutely. Well, where are we going next?
Let's talk about choosing your vendors. Because I know that was really super important to both of you. And I know that you both had ideas of what you expected in each specialty from each vendor. You've been to a ton of weddings. I know Nancy does a ton of events herself with, her business. And so how did you go about selecting your vendors? I'll put my head on the chopping block and start with me. But how did you know that you even wanted a wedding planner, and then how did you know what florist you wanted, and how did I know I gave some guidance, but
I'm taking the microphone from her. So wedding planner was extremely important for me because I wanted to make sure that Amanda and I had a great relationship the day after her wedding, like we did the day or the year before her wedding.
amen.
So to me, that was huge. And since she works full-time, I work full-time, we both have homes to run, I can't dedicate as much time. So plug for Sharon, she takes care of everything. And I just write checks. And everything's been great so far. And then luckily with a wedding planner, whether it's Sharon or somebody else, they kind of guide you to people they have worked with before and whether that person is good to work with or questionable or not to work with. So that's good too. You're not going into this blind.
So I'm going to ask some questions outside of Sharon. What has been one of your takeaways that has maybe surprised you working with a wedding planner? Either one of you can answer.
That's a good question.
I don't think I've been surprised.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a very good answer, isn't it, Sharon?
Yeah, because I was gonna have my feelings hurt if they were shocked at something.
No, I just, it made the process, I didn't realize that, the event industry seems to change quickly, like trends do. And sometimes we hear from people, you're in it every single day. You have a pulse on it, so do you, Mike. And for engaged couples who never been married before, or maybe it's been 30 years or longer since their parents have been married, having that educated person that can give you input, I think that's the thing with what we try to do is help provide education to engaged couples. And I know a lot of times people think, well, that's just an additional expense on top of my other vendors. And working so closely with Sharon, like I have, I feel like a lot of times she saves people maybe more money, or they're able to book other types of things for their event, maybe vendors they couldn't, because of how she's helped to negotiate
It's actually
contracts.
kind of a goal, and I tell my clients this, that I will save you more money than you will pay me. Because I know what we're gonna pay for. I know what I'm not gonna let them pay for. I know what I think is super, super important. And of course, it's what they, what they want, and every bride's vision is different, but there's just some things that my clients just are not gonna pay.
You're gonna give them an educated
Yeah.
feedback on each of the items.
Yeah, and Sharon or any good wedding planner will read the fine print. Again, I don't have time to read the fine print, and I'm not gonna look for those little words that may turn around and bite me later and cost me more money.
They got your best interest.
Yes, and
Yeah.
because I can give somebody a bad review really quick, so, or a great review.
Right.
And also.
But does that surprise you, Amanda?
Well, no, because I own a business, I get it. But also the day of the wedding, I don't have to worry about something going wrong.
Exactly.
I don't have to worry about a tux not looking right.
You can be an actual guest, or you can be part.
I'm gonna be the mother of the bride that day and focus on her.
Not a guest, I didn't mean a guest.
That
but
is one of the
part
most
that day.
important things that anybody could have said right there, because we hear that all the time. I have moms coming to me and says, "Oh, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to make the centerpieces, and we're going to do this, and we're, no."
And Aunt Betty's bringing her
And
crock
Aunt
pot,
Betty's
we're
going
gonna
to
have
do this,
green
and
beans.
you know what?
Or
You
Betty.
need to make sure that you enjoy that day just as much as
They
one of
need
your
to be a
guests.
guest at their own event.
Exactly.
They absolutely
You
do.
can actually sit in the hair and makeup chair, be there with your daughter, and actually enjoy it, not worried about who's delivering what in and what coming through. Sorry, Sharon, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about wedding planning.
Well,
That's
too,
absolutely fine.
and with Sharon, she has her A team that she works with. I'm not going to say that things don't happen. Things are going to happen, but we're going to handle them.
And you're gonna
We're gonna
know
take
about it
care of
till
it, and you're
tea
not
or
gonna
coffee
know
the
about it.
next week.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need that stress. I mean, it could be as simple as somebody had a flat tire on the way to the wedding. But you know what I'm saying? It's just the simplest things. But with you got your A team in there that are used to working with each other all the time, we're all going to jump in and help each other. And because it's all about you all that day. So,
Well, and I think
you've got
that's what thank you all for saying such nice things about wedding planners. I appreciate it a lot. I think though any vendor is a huge hire. And I know Amanda definitely, she hasn't hired like every single person that, the first person I've recommended. But I think part of my job is to get to know Amanda, the groom, her parents, his parents, get to know them so intimately that I know what DJ is a good fit for her personality. I know what catering, is a good fit for them. I know, so I think that also she's been such a good communicator in what she wanted. And, hats off to you, Mom, because I know that doesn't happen, organically. That has to be taught. She's been such a good communicator that it's been easy to pick vendors for her because I know what she wants. And I think that's something that every bride needs to hear is, I'm good, but I'm not Miss Cleo. I'm not going to read your mind, so I need to know what your expectations are. They need to dream it and I need to execute it. And I think that she's been really good at that. What are you looking for in vendor? If I wasn't here, what are you looking for in your vendor team though?
I would have been lost. I would not have known where to start. I probably would have gotten the venue, a photographer, a videographer, a caterer, and called it a day. I would not know all
Then we would have hit that hard stop.
But no, I think somebody that, like, you've introduced me to several people, like, at wedding shows, and immediately if I am, like, kind of awkward around them, or if I don't click with them, almost immediately, it's like, oh, no, I'm okay, or, like, different styles. Like, there was one DJ that, a lot of people love, and I've heard great things, but as soon as I started talking to them, it was like, oh, no, this isn't, you're more of a partier. I want something to where my family, like, it's not just a bunch of club music or something like that. Like, I don't know, somebody that I can click with. Like, I don't know who.
You just made a great point. It's so important to evaluate your options, not over the phone, maybe not necessarily over Zoom, certainly not off Instagram or Pinterest, especially, and Sharon, I know you'll add to this, your DJ it's gonna run your event. And it should be someone that you click with, that you feel comfortable, that's going to listen to the style that you are wanting. And it's so great that you recognize that, and you're not just conforming or saying, well, everybody else liked them, or, so it's nice to hear that you kept your options open because you didn't click immediately.
Yeah, DJ was a big one for me too. I've been to, I don't know, probably 5 wedding shows, and in those 5, I've probably talked to the same 2 or 3 DJs more than twice, at least twice, just to make sure that I really did like this person or didn't like this person or whatnot. But DJ is very important because that is my party. The DJ is the party.
It's hard for me, like when people say, I've had brides say, what's my most important hire? Honestly, if they weren't important, we wouldn't be hiring them. There's no like non-important vendor, but your DJ will definitely set the tone for your night for sure. And I know you didn't want the show.
I didn't want a production.
Right.
There's a good way to word it. I've heard you say similar things like that, and that's a good way to put it.
I'm glad you brought that up because, I mean, I think it's so important with me also, you know, standing out there. Yes, I sell flowers, but sometimes I don't think it's anything really to do with the flowers. It's all about the personality that you connect with the bride, if you like each other or not. I mean, and if you like each other, everything else is going to fall into place. But if you don't have that connection, well, then you're not going to hire that person.
Well, and it's not only liking, but I know, you know, as our listeners have heard before, my background's in healthcare. And I remember being taught when I was brand new that when I walk in a patient's room, I've got about 5 minutes before they're going to decide whether they trust me or not. And I think that's the same way in the wedding business. I think they have to trust us. I mean, let's face it, this is probably the most money they're ever going to spend on an event. I don't know, that engagement party looked pretty epic, but it's the most money they're going to spend on an event. Hopefully it's a one-time day. They're trusting us with that. Like, I don't take that lightly at all. That's a big old deal. So I think the way they sit back in the makeup chair and relax is that you have that trust that you put together a really good team.
Can I ask a couple questions about that?
Have at it.
If Sharon didn't recommend someone to you, if you met them at a wedding show, what was the next step? Did you Google them? Did you look them up on social media? How'd you do your research?
So usually, well, I think at almost all of them, Sharon was also there at the wedding show. So I would, say hi to her whenever I'd walk in, and then I'd go talk to people. And then a couple times I came up to Sharon and I was like, hey, I just talked to this person. Like, I vibe with them really well. And she would say, oh yeah, they're awesome. Or, oh, I think they might not be that great of a fit for you. And then I'd go talk to somebody else.
But because she knows your style
Exactly.
and has gotten to know you and your family to know for that event. Okay, so then have you just relied on Sharon, or have you went out and done research or anything?
I've done a little bit of research. My photographer, she doesn't.
Well, we'll let Nancy, you can answer after this.
Go ahead.
My photographer is not somebody that Sharon knows. We know her. We're mutual friends, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I did my research with her. I knew she did really pretty outdoor weddings, but I hadn't seen any of her do any like church weddings. So I reached out to her. I was like, I need to see your church weddings. Because that's indoor.
Smart.
Indoor and outdoor is extremely different, especially at a church. Like
Totally
a church
different.
does not have that, not all the time has that gorgeous lighting.
It's great that
Honest.
you took the step, though, to ask for,
Yeah.
to see stuff, not just go off what's out there.
Well, and pictures are really important too. I feel like that's the one thing that sticks around for forever.
It's the only thing that becomes more valuable.
Yeah.
Because eventually somebody in that picture is not going to be here, and that
Exactly.
becomes more
Yes.
valuable.
Yeah. Videographers, I kind of hear a bunch of different people. Sharon tells me a bunch of different people. Still haven't decided on that because I have not done my research there. But no, Sharon will tell me people and I'll do my research and I'll say, oh yeah, I like them, or I'll say, oh yeah, I also hear these people, and then
Are you going on Instagram, Pinterest?
mutual friends, so friends or family members. Mostly friends and family members.
Did you want to answer something differently to that question about lots of research? Oh,
She does a lot of research on stuff. So,
Where is she researching? I want to share with the rest of our audience where.
okay, if she's looking at dresses, she's going to look at other people, what other people's reviews are. So when she's talking about looking at DJs, and she may talk to the DJ and say, yeah, good fit, not good fit. But then she also reaches out to other people to find out who they use, what they liked about them. You could stand and watch videos or people post on Facebook and you can hear the music and the DJ in the background. And so she definitely does a lot of research.
I do most of my research on just Google, YouTube, or Facebook. I'm not a huge social media person.
And that's okay to hear. Absolutely. So for girls out there, there's other alternatives to looking into vendors besides Instagram, Pinterest, or other social media platforms. So that's always good to share.
Well, and as a planner, I think some things some hires are more subjective than others. DJ, they have to click with. A photographer, what I care about for a photographer, and I'm not taking anything away from what they do, but what I care about, are they on time? Are they gonna stay on time throughout the day? Are they gonna take off with my bride and groom and screw up my whole reception timeline because they don't bring them back in time? Those are the are they gonna bring a second shooter?
But that affects your whole event.
Correct.
Your whole event. Yes.
I don't need to care if the photos are light and airy or if they're dark and moody that's not my decision to make. They know what they like.
Just if they have experience with events.
So what I'm looking at is totally different. So, when she mentioned the photographer to me, I said, does she do a lot of weddings? I want to know this is an experienced wedding person, not a family portrait I have all day to take your picture person. But yeah, some hires are just more subjective, I think.
So where are you at right now with your vendors? When we first started, you're a year out approximately, and you still have a few vendors to book, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have our DJ set. We just actually need to go and talk to him
We have a meeting
for the first time. Yeah,
on Monday.
next week. Yep, I'm excited for that. What else? Videographer. And then of course, like cake, hotel block, that's a big one we need to start talking about.
They won't do it more than a year out. So,
So you're close to that window, but yes.
That's been the thing with Amanda is it's kind of like you got to reel her in a little bit because I swear if I had the time available on my calendar, we would have saw every vendor the first week.
I've been shopping for rehearsal dinner dresses.
Yeah.
And I decided I needed to stop that.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because another topic that comes up is rehearsal dinners. They're kind of an event on their own. And, there's can be a lot. Are you planning rehearsal dinner?
So, no, soon-to-be mother-in-law is, now we've been talking, we need to look at that closer. But we just kind of throw ideas off of each other, but nothing really planned yet.
But that's something that they are going to do, so that's
yeah.
right. Yeah. But I gotta know how much you're letting your fiance be involved in these decisions.
He likes to eat.
He likes to
I know,
yes.
I've seen him at a couple tastings.
That's what he's been involved in.
He is and suits. He was great at the suit appointment. He's extremely traditional, so he's a large reason why, we're doing the whole Catholic wedding. He wants to do some sort of cake cutting, which is why we're going to get a little cake, even though we're going to do the chocolate fountains, which is also his idea.
But that's something we're hearing more and more from people. Mm-hmm. They still want to do that tradition, but they're not doing a two-tier, three-tier
opportunity.
Yeah, the pictures, and Dad also said that he wants a slice, so it has to be, and Mom, apparently. So it has to be a big enough, cake to have the parents, or let the parents have a piece.
10 or 12 slices and you'll be good.
Exactly.
She's quite a bit ahead, honestly, of where a lot of brides are at this stage of the game. I know.
And that's not a bad thing.
That's not
right?
a bad thing. Exactly.
No, not at all. I'm thrilled with it. But she's really been on it and she's really ahead of things. We've even booked her, we've even picked out the guy's formal wear, like you were just saying. She knew what she wanted. We did our flowers with Mike And then they also have the tuxes there in their shop. And she's like, I know exactly what I want. I want classic black tux.
And that comes from Alex too.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're doing like different shades of red is
Right.
for Alex. See, there's a lot I do for him.
I think that's
I'm
awesome.
hearing it. I'm
Well,
hearing it.
and really, we're seeing more grooms getting involved than we
He
ever
won't
have.
admit it. He won't admit it. But
But
Oh, I
he's
can
telling
tell.
you stuff, and then
Yes.
you're.
I could
yes.
tell the first night sitting there eating with him, he was going to make a lot of decisions, or had a
He's
lot
really
of
fun
opinions.
too. He's really cute. Yeah, he's really, really fun. What has been, Nancy, what's been the biggest challenge with thinking about planning the wedding, and is it no numbers to Steve? Is that that's the challenge?
Yeah, we don't talk numbers today.
We don't talk, what is it, we don't talk about Bruno, we don't talk about numbers?
Yeah, we don't talk about numbers. No, that there's.
That's a good answer though. If there hasn't been challenges, there's nothing wrong
There
with that
has been a
answer.
challenge, but we're only at like 360 days till the wedding, so.
Could we just say that one more time, Sharon? Only 360 days.
But meaning that there's still time for a challenge. I hope
Right.
there's not.
We'll have to have you
But I
guys
won't
back
be
on it.
surprised if there is a challenge eventually. I do know that when Amanda showed me a pair of shoes that were $300 and something, I said, we're not doing that.
they were $280 and I will pay for them myself.
Well, the question is, are they going to be comfortable? How long will you have them on? Because I can remember I was dead set on some shoes. They were not cheap.
She'll get a second pair.
And then I wore them for 10 or 15
They're
minutes.
like this tall. Okay.
Yeah.
They look very comfortable.
For our
Very-
people that
they
are
look very
just
comfortable.
listening, that's
It's
about
like-
2 inches, inch and a
Two
half.
maybe.
Okay.
I don't know, something like that. But they're super cute. They have pearls on them. They're
And you're
perfect.
going to use them for a photo op, right?
Oh, at least.
Okay.
At least a
Yeah,
picture.
please.
At least one.
I remember one of the funniest times that I've had with the Baileys is we were on a venue hunt, and I'll usually schedule, 2 or 3 venues to see, and then we went on our venue hunt, and we get there, and the venue she chose, and I'm not going to give it away yet, but the venue she chose had a big open space at the end of the venue.
Oh no.
And I'm kind of talking to Nancy, and I'm like, I love it, but I'm just not sure what I'm going to do down there, because that would normally be your ceremony space, but she's getting married in a church, and it was just kind of like bugging me, like this empty space is going to need something. And it was our groom that came up with a bouncy house. And I said, that's not wedding, and he said, it can be a white bouncy house. So there has been talk, and I'm still not sure that there's not going to somewhere in the next year be a bouncy house.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I was just somewhere 2 weeks ago, and on their counter was a picture of a white bouncy house.
Yep.
And I said to myself, or I said to the person, oh my gosh, you all have a white bouncy house?
So Nancy actually was going to get one for the engagement party, and I was doing my research, and I found a white bouncy house that looks like a church.
Shh, we're not supposed to maybe talk about
No, it already
that. I'm just kidding. I
The
know.
engagement party already
I
happened.
know.
We nixed.
So all of those are booked until like next November. The white church bouncy houses.
I found one though.
They exist, and they
Do
exist.
I hear a
in
business
town.
opportunity? Nancy, you're a business owner. She's like, no.
The other option that Alex came up with, or maybe it was Amanda's father, came out with a electronic, I don't know what is it called, mechanical bull,
Yes, we did talk
That was
about the
another
mechanical
option.
bull in that space.
and we said no.
And I said, let's talk to Mike about what to do down there in my nicest planner voice, because I do not want a mechanical bull.
We're gonna do the food down there, and I talked to the caterer about it and everything.
So see, she's on it. You have it taken care of.
I got really bored one night, and I made a layout of the venue.
I'm telling you, you just don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I do have a question when we're talking about time frame here. Did you have to wait to have some of your appointments because you didn't have your address yet? Because I know some people or some vendors suggest having your address before you have vendor
We always
appointments.
suggest that, even for bridesmaids and everything. But you know what?
You just went with it?
We went with it.
So
Well,
I
I know she had her Pinterest board.
I have my dress, and we have the bridesmaids' dresses, so I need to tell you and Pam the color of it so that she can order the right shirts and you can get the right.
But honestly, she kind of already knew.
Yeah.
I didn't know if she ran into trouble with that because I know that's something, since you said out of the gate she was ready to have
Well,
appointments.
honestly, and Mike, you might agree or disagree with me, I don't know, but there's part of me that says, slow down, we've got time, but there's the bigger part of me that with weddings, this year being what it is, because I've never in my whole life, I'm gonna be really honest, my head is spinning right now with this wedding season, this wedding year. Just keeping up for a lot of businesses is really hard right now. So the bigger part of me was like to take good care of my client because I know she wants who she wants. I just want to get on the book. If I have to change something later, I'll change it, but I want on the book.
Well, I would highly recommend that too. And I've booked about 20, 25 weddings for next year. And, I designate Monday and Tuesdays to that. But that's what that's who I'm talking to. It's 23 brides. I've got maybe one date available for this year and that's it. I mean, it hurts me every time somebody sets up an appointment and sorry, I'm booked. But it is what it is. So that's why I'm concentrating on 23, and I think you're very smart for go ahead and having it done.
Well, and we had a
You're very smart
conversation,
with
and
that.
I even said, usually we would get your dress first, but with the way things are right now, I want to know you're on Mike's book, and then we'll go from there.
I've actually got a wedding booked every weekend in April next year already.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the craziest wedding season I've ever encountered. Did that factor into you wanting, because I know you're pretty up on the scoop. Have you?
Oh yeah, no, that's why I didn't enjoy the engagement as long, because I kept hearing my friend had just gotten engaged, and within a week she had her venue booked. And I was like, oh my gosh! And she used to work at a bridal boutique, so like she knows what's going on. And she was like, yeah, everything is booking up so fast. And I was like, oh, okay, so we need to do this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very smart.
I know I've kind of set my goal to do 10 to 12 weddings next year, and I kind of want that to be my max for lots of reasons, but mostly so that every client gets what they deserve from me. And I already have 5. Like, it's halfway booked, the whole, it's crazy. I've just never seen anything like it. What are you most looking forward to now? Because most of your vendor teams established, it's kind of like we're going to play red light, green light. Like, you're with me, we're doing, then okay, there's nothing to do right now. What are you most looking forward to coming up?
The Bachelorette. I'm very excited.
And let me know, I'm sure we know where that's going to be and what we're wearing and everything.
It's booked. I have some outfits picked out. It's in Savannah, Georgia, Labor Day weekend.
Oh, I've never had
Wow.
Yeah, so
Never been there.
Now, is
It'll be
someone
a lot of fun.
planning this, or you have a hand in it?
So my maid of honor, she's great. She's my cousin, but whenever we found out, whenever we booked it, I was researching like I normally do, and I found all the cool restaurants and bars and activities to do, and made a Excel spreadsheet of them all. And
She's in banking, by the way, if that tells you.
I've heard other people go there, and amazing. So it's glad you've done your
So
research
I have to
there.
know, Nancy, are you going?
oh yes,
Oh, yes. Myself, and I'm allowed to invite one friend.
Aww.
And the mother of the groom, and she's allowed to invite one friend. It's not a family thing, it's a friend thing, and then Amanda and her bridesmaids.
I love that you're including the moms. That's really cool.
Well, we're a lot of fun, so.
You are
Wow,
a good time,
wouldn't
Nancy.
But, so we got a house, a VRBO, and that's the one thing that I told her maid of honor, Claire, was we needed to be within walking distance so that there's no one having to drive. Everybody should
Right.
drink and party, and when you're done,
Yep.
you're done, you can go back, and we are literally on top of the bar.
Oh my.
That's
Didn't know that when we booked it, but
that's really good and a little scary to me.
it is. But it's gonna be really cool. I don't know anybody in the group that's ever been there, so it'll be an experience for everybody, for all of us.
It's such a pretty place. And now is the bachelor party booked?
He just got asked his groomsmen 2 days ago. So
Okay.
no.
Wasn't he, we had it, we've been on him about that. I thought that was
Yes.
done.
It
Okay.
happened at the engagement party and the ushers. The ushers have been asked too. So again, he needs to tell Pam all that information. But yeah, no, that's not booked. I know he wants to golf. Golf somewhere not in Louisville. But
Golf and
that's-
drink.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't know where, don't know how, don't know when.
So when are we planning honeymoon? I mean, that ought to be happening soon.
Yeah, so, well, I think we know
I'm
where.
teasing you, honestly.
Well, I mean, we kind of know. I have an Excel spreadsheet for that too.
Lord help me.
With the price breakdown. Yeah, probably Cancun, Mexico.
Nancy's
Wow.
eyes
Just
just.
going to Disney.
No! No, Mexico. Need to get him a passport, but yeah,
That is something you do need to do soon,
yes, yeah,
because that's a booger right now.
yes.
Well, I can't wait to journey through the rest of this with you guys. I've had so much fun already. I cannot imagine what it's going to be like on wedding day. I just you need to stay for this one, Mike. You need to hang around.
Oh, I'm going to,
Yeah,
especially with Mom over there.
I know it. We were out.
Definitely. I think it's going to be one that's talked about for quite a while.
If they'll play Dancing Queen, Mike and I'll dance.
That's our song.
That's our song.
That's our song. Yeah.
Mike's wife and I, it's a big joke because both of us, that's like our song.
Mhm.
So when it comes on, we have to dance.
They'll be dancing, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dancing.
I don't think this DJ is going to have a difficult crowd to
No.
get on the dance floor at all.
Let's just say Saturday night at the engagement party, there was plenty of dancing. My knee still hurts. I hurt my knee.
How many people did you all have at this engagement party?
About 100.
Jesus
Oh
Lord.
my gosh.
Well, with
Yeah.
kids, it was probably about 120.
Yeah, with kids. No, I would say like 110 with kids. Because some people ended up not showing up. Some people brought extra people.
It's a lot of fun.
So we're going to have to close out. We're almost out of time. But Nancy, what advice would you give to a mom whose daughter just got engaged? If you could give them one word of advice, what would it be?
Now I might tear up.
That's okay. Get a picture.
Let your daughter have the wedding that she dreams of.
Oh, you have a good mom.
Yes.
My mom let me. I mean,
That's awesome.
you got to keep them in check with money, but it's about her wedding, not mine. I had mine. Let her have hers.
That's perfect said.
I
Perfectly
love
said.
that. Okay, Miss Thing, what one piece of advice would you give to, say your best friend called you and said, I just got engaged, tell me what I need to know. What would you tell her?
Book your stuff now. No. Get out your Excel. No, I would say make sure that the day is what you actually want, not what others around you want. You will get a lot of opinions thrown at you,
Lord, everybody has.
and it's overwhelming. So just make sure that it's yours and not anybody else's.
I love it.
I don't think there's any better way to wrap up.
Love
Nancy, Amanda, thank you so much for being here.
I can't wait to have them back on after.
After
I
the
hope
wedding.
you will come back and share with us from where you were at now with all your planning, and then after it all came to fruition, how your event, what you remember, all the things.
Was there a pool? Was there a bouncy house?
No.
Was the food in the right place? How did your drawing go? All the things.
She can
So-
talk about how beautiful her flowers were.
Yeah.
Yes. So everybody will have to stay tuned to hear a recap from Amanda about their special day. Maybe we'll even get her to bring her fiance in.
Oh, he would be a hoot.
You might do it.
Right.
We'll have food.
Not
You have to.
not the father, and we'll evaluate that situation when we get closer.
Actually, I have to. He is such a nice man. I feel like we're
No,
making a
I
really
didn't
bad
mean it like
picture
that.
of him.
No.
It depends on if the hard number, if it was below
He
the
has
hard
been
number.
so
or
kind
over
to me. I feel really wrong that we're picking on good old Steve. But yeah,
Yeah. All right. Thank you all so much for coming in, spending some time with us.
thank you.
Thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, please take a few minutes and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, everyone, take care.